The main feature of a perfect French omelet is the texture. It should be creamy and custardy on the inside. It's also rolled, not folded, and so delicate that you don't brown the outside at all. Today I'm gonna show you two different ways of cooking the perfect French omelet. One, just the classic, eggs, butter, and salt, and a second that we're gonna fill, and that'll show you how to maintain that perfect roll and texture, as well as incorporating delicious complementary flavors. Mastering a French omelet will teach you a couple of really important cooking skills. One is heat control, and the other is how to think about texture in addition to flavor. The best thing about a French omelet is that it only takes 3 eggs to impress someone. Oftentimes you think of omelets as, eggs and then a ton of vegetables and things put together in a pan, browned and folded over and then slung on your plate. A French omelet is much more delicate than that. You use way fewer ingredients. I mean, literally you can make a perfect French omelet with just eggs, butter, and salt. So because it takes such few ingredients, all of the work is in the technique, how to control the heat, the texture to make it perfect. For the best success of the perfect French omelet, you need the right tools. So that starts with a nonstick pan first, and then also a whisk or fork so that we can fully combine the eggs, and a soft kind of silicone type spatula. The reason it's soft is so it doesn't scratch my pan, and it's gonna help me roll that omelet. We'll start with the eggs. Try to do that fancy one-handed crack. Great. Oh, I got a little bit of eggshell in there. The best trick to getting eggshell out of eggs is to use the shell itself. They attract each other. It's like attracts like. So you just come in and scoop it, and it like clings to the shell. It's amazing. Next up, whisk the eggs thoroughly. We don't want to see any of the egg white. I could do this with a fork too, but a whisk, honestly, if you have one, is going to more fully incorporate and aerate the eggs, which will impact texture. Whisked until I see absolutely no white. It's totally homogeneous, very important. Now, a good pinch of salt. Stir that in. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of butter. Lots of people think 1 tablespoon is enough, but I personally think 2 is better. That buttery, fatty, extra flavor makes the omelet super decadent. When I was starting out learning how to cook omelets, the best thing is to err on the side of lower heat. That gives you more control. You can stop and start and pull your pan off of the stove. So don't forget, as you're figuring out, it's better to go slow. Turning this on to medium, I'm gonna melt the butter and then let it kind of bubble out. As the butter melts, it starts bubbling furiously at first as the water content that butter has in it boils out. Once it stops bubbling, that's the time to add the eggs. I'm gonna be ready with my spatula to start stirring. Moving the pan with one hand and my spatula furiously with the other. And then remember, if it starts going too quick, slide it off. I do that frequently. Okay, see, then I'm at a good spot. I feel more in control now. It was like going pretty fast. Turn this temperature down. When it's just about, kind of looks like loose scrambled eggs in the bottom of the pan, that's when I'm gonna smooth it out, make sure it's even, and I just wanna set the outside without browning it. Kind of move around with my spatula. That is perfect egg texture. Looks like slightly runny scrambled eggs. Now it's time to roll. To roll, lift up your handle left hand like this. Start to tilt it like so. See how the underside isn't browned at all? And then I'm gonna use my spatula to help me roll it. When I get down to the bottom, use the spatula to fold it back on top. Flip. See the texture? It's not browned at all. It's soft. It was just barely set when I started rolling it. That's the goal. It'll be really creamy and custardy inside. Oh man. This is my favorite omelet because it's just eggs, butter, and salt. And the center is decadent, buttery, creamy, custardy. It's perfect. This is a great base. It's the classic technique, but you can also get creative and innovative and fill it with some things. Now that we've made the kind of perfect classic French omelet, I'm gonna show you how to fill an omelet. I like to fill mine personally with smoked salmon and herbs, which is the one that I'm gonna prepare today. There are no rules to what you can put inside an omelet. You just are trying to pay attention to that final custardy texture and how to achieve the roll, even now that you've put some fillings in it. I've got some dill and chives and smoked salmon here, as well as the obligatory ingredients, eggs, butter, and salt. The beginning setup is the same as the classic, eggs in a bowl. Now there are a couple of different ways that you can incorporate ingredients into an omelet. One is like inside the eggs itself, so whisked in the egg mixture. That's where I'm gonna put the dill and the chives. And the reason that I'm gonna put the herbs and the egg mixture, one, it's gonna look pretty. So when it rolls up, I'll see all those beautiful herbs kind of peeking through, specks of green. Also, they're tender and small, so they're not gonna impede the rolling process, right? They're not gonna get in the way. I wouldn't put the smoked salmon in the eggs for that reason, because one, I don't want to see the chunks of salmon on the outside, but then also chunky things don't roll well. Nice large pinch of salt, good pinch of dill, a nice pinch of chives. With the salmon, I'm just gonna tear it into small pieces. Also thinking about how much salmon. I don't wanna overfill the omelet because that's gonna be hard to roll. I'm laying the salmon out like this so I can visualize how much filling I'm gonna put in the omelet. And this looks like the perfect amount. I'm still gonna be able to roll over top of that salmon. It's time for the omelet making. Start the same way, 2 tablespoons of butter, this could be ham, it could be sausage, it could be bacon, it could be lots of things. Start folding. The roll's a little trickier when it has fillings. But if you take your time, just go slow. Smush that seam, roll the bottom part up so I can plate it. That looks perfect. I love how the herbs peek through. It's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Look how beautiful and custardy that is with the salmon and the butter and the herbs. In this chapter, I showed you how to make a French omelet. The skills of controlling heat while paying attention to texture as well as flavor can be transferred to whatever you are cooking. Now that you've seen this workshop, anytime you're wondering what to eat, if you've got 3 eggs, some butter, and salt, you can make a French omelet.